Have you ever wished your LLM didn't just answer you, but actually thought like a professional analyst? Not the kind that rushes to be helpful, but the kind that slows down, asks clarifying questions, and refuses to pretend it knows what you meant. Because that's the blank slate problem. You open a chat, you type a prompt, and the model fills the empty space with confidence. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's fiction. And the worst part is, it sounds the same either way. Today we're going to fix that. We're going to build a research analyst agent using Claude custom styles. Not a vibe, not a costume, a behavior shift. And here's the twist. We're not going to write the style instructions from scratch. We're going to force Claude to read its own documentation, identify what's unclear, and generate the style guide as an artifact. In other words, we're going to use Claude to learn Claude, to build a better Claude. Let's start. Step 1, ground the AI. The first mistake most people make when creating a custom style is guessing. They type something like, be a research analyst. And yeah, it sounds reasonable, but it's too vague. And I want you to feel why. Imagine someone walked up to you and said, hey, be a research analyst for me. Your first response wouldn't be sure. It would be questions, because real work starts with clarity, not vibes. So instead of guessing, we do the grown-up move. We ask Claude to find the source of truth, the official documentation for Claude chat and styles. This matters, because we're grounding the model in the developer's intended logic before we ask it to do anything creative. We're not styling a personality yet. We're learning the tool. Step 2, read the docs like an engineer. Now, while we browse the docs, let's talk about what a style actually is. Unlike a project, which is a collection of documents, a style is a preset filter for Claude's personality. It shapes the voice, tone, structure, and how the response feels. But I want to challenge that a little, because a style is still an instruction layer. It's still context. And instruction layers don't just change the sound of the answer, they change the shape of the answer. That means we can embed more than one. We can embed behavior. We can condition the response so it actually helps us get meaningful work done. And the docs hint at how this works. You'll see preset styles, like concise or formal, but we want custom style. Then you'll see two ideas that people confuse constantly: starting points and custom instructions. Here's the nuance. Examples can nudge behavior. Instructions can constrain behavior. If you don't understand how those interact, you'll get outputs that look polished, but don't actually move work forward. Let's hurry this along and speed it up. We've read enough to stop skimming. Now here's the pro move. Instead of telling Claude, build me a style, we ask something sharper. We ask, do you have any questions about how to build a style correctly? This is the Socratic method applied to AI engineering. If Claude can generate the right questions, it proves it didn't just see the words, it processed the design. We want it hunting ambiguity. Can methods be combined? Do samples override instructions? Are there limits? What happens when two rules conflict? Because that's what a real analyst does. A real analyst doesn't sprint into an answer. They interrogate the problem first. Turn questions into a research loop. Now look at what happens. Claude produces a list of legitimate gray areas. Not random anxiety, actual edge cases. And this is where most people would stop and guess. But we don't guess. We convert questions into a research loop. We instruct Claude to investigate every question using search and documentation. In plain language, period. Don't fill the gap with confidence. Go find the answer. This is the behavior we want our final research analyst style to mimic. But right now, we're doing it manually to build the blueprint. Because the quality of your custom style is only as good as the specificity of the instructions behind it. Feed it vague rules, and you get vague behavior. While Claude crunches through the research steps, let's talk about the deeper reason we're doing this. Standard LLMs are people pleasers. If you ask a question, they want to give you something immediately, even when the premise is wrong. Speed feels good. Confidence feels good. And that's exactly the trap. A real analyst doesn't do that. A real analyst says, wait, what do you mean by that? I can't answer X until I know Y. We want to capture that friction, not to be annoying, but to force precision. And you can literally watch it happening on screen. It's checking limits, conflicts, priority rules, building a mental model of the styles feature that's deeper than most power users ever bother to build. This is how you get reliability. Not by being smart, by refusing to guess. The investigation is complete. Now look at the output. It didn't just spit out a summary, it produced a structured set of findings. It clarified workflow differences. It surfaced limitations and portability realities. It mapped out how starting points and custom instructions interact. Then it generates the real prize, the artifact, a markdown style, custom style file. This is our golden ticket, because this isn't a paragraph of personality. It's a spec, behavioral rules, response structure, and constraints. And buried in there is the secret sauce, a rule like, ask 1 to 3 clarifying questions before answering. That single constraint changes everything. Now we implement. We open the artifact and we look at the structure. Clarifying questions first. Logical thinking process. Source selection rationale. This is not fluff. This is operational behavior. We copy it, open the styles menu, and create a custom style. And because we want the most control, we choose the option that lets us set instructions directly. Then we paste the behavior guidelines into the instruction block. And we name it something that cues the model properly. Evidence-based analyst. Names matter because names are also context, and by reading the documentation, we know that not only the style, but the style name runs every time. Boom. It didn't just answer. It followed our instructions, our custom context, asked questions. This is super important. This helps us condition this Claude chat thread to retain the questions, the answers, and the important part. Claude retains this in its context as you chat, bringing a much deeper level of understanding and clarification. The agent now asks, what's your specific goal? Are you looking for an overview, compliance guidance, or implementation detail? What industry are we in? What's the depth and the deadline? Your answers stay in context. That's the shift. It refuses to give a low-quality answer in exchange for clarity. And that's the power of a well-engineered custom style. We use Claude to learn about Claude, to build a better Claude. Now you can do the same thing for any subject, within any domain. Security analyst, incident commander, technical writer, whatever role you need, as long as you stop guessing and start specifying. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your new Analyst.